Luke, I am your father. No! Hey, how are we doing? It's JJ. I've come out, bit of time out in the lavoo, have a brew, get the firebox going, but have a look at this. What is this, you may ask? This is a cracking little tactical flashlight that myself and some others, no doubt you might have already seen some of their reviews, Dermid, Willie's World, Ben Walgate, 401 Files and a few others. We've been sent these by a good friend Kitty, who works for a company based out in China, and this is the Brinyte PT28 OATHKEEPER. Now, if ever a tactical flashlight had an apt name, this is it, the P28 OATHKEEPER. How awesome does that sound? Is the light awesome? That's what we're going to find out. I'm out, so I'm going to have a brew. I just wanted to show you this. So the Brinyte P28 OATHKEEPER, it's a tactical flashlight. Now I'm just going to quickly show you this while I'm out here. We'll see what it's like as it gets dark, and then once I'm back at home we'll run through some technical specifications, just to keep you all intrigued, and then I'll be back out of it a bit later and we'll do a little bit more rigorous testing. Now my good friend Dermid, if you already want to watch his video, head over to Willie's World, and if ever you wanted to see a tactical flashlight, an awesome bit of kit wrapped up in 2 socks and then put in a spin cycle on a wash machine, head over to his channel. But I'm going to do something slightly different when it comes to my testing. So based out of China, they have quite an extensive range. This is the P28, couple of different colors it comes in, predominantly black, and then there's this sort of almost like bronze gunmetal color, that's more suited for me, being a man of sort of like brown, kind of matches with my clothing. As it comes with this finger guard, a tactical ring. Now you have to be careful in some countries whether you can actually wear this. If you're asked about this, obviously it can be kind of used as a knuckle duster, you know, chip against the windows if you're in your vehicle, emergency breakout, it could be used for things like that. But you know, it's a little bit of a grey area with that, so we're not going to mention that too much. I've got very thin hands, even without gloves on it kind of like slides around a fair bit. But anyway, enough about that. So I'll show you all the technical specs at home. Finger guard, which is detachable, and a very sturdy belt clip, on off button at the back, and then on the side, okay, just here is where you cycle it. So what I mean by that is on, and then at the side runs through all the different functions. And then if you hold it in, he says, let's get it back on, off, on. Goes through all them different functions. And there you go. They are quite noticeable, the different functions actually. $1600 lumens. 1600 lumens. Oh my god, you can bring down aircraft with this baby. Seriously, that's more powerful than some of the lights I run on my mountain bike. Do you know what? 1600 lumens max, that is plenty light. Seriously, absolutely awesome. But listen, I'm just quickly showing you this now. As I say, when it gets dark, we'll see just how much it projects that light out. I think it's up to, well, a few hundred meters. and we'll see what that's like. And then, as I say, once we're back at home, I'll show you all the different things about it, the battery cell, the magnetic port charger which goes on the side, which is pretty cool, and the other bits and bobs that come in the box. But listen, that's enough for now. That's over 5 minutes. We don't want this to be too long. See you in the darkness. Bye. Okay, you can't see me, but it's dark, and that's what you need to have for a torch flashlight testing. Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, so let's just go through the cycles again. That is bright. That is properly bright. And that's on the smallest function. Hey, check this out if I can remember it. That is a strobe and a half. It really is. Let's do some. Where's my lavoo? Where's the lavoo? Let's just cycle through. That is some seriously bright light. Off. Smallest setting. Bright. Brighter still. It is seriously. It's not even properly dark yet, and that thing just lights up the wood. It seriously does. It is pretty bloody awesome, isn't it? So the button on the back turns it off, that brings it on. See that little, can you see the green light? See the green light? That's your cyclic. So that's what you use to go through it. Dim, brighter, brighter still. Boom, 1600 lumens. Man, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That strobe, my God, if you're in an emergency situation, oh my days, that's mental. But that is seriously bright. The one thing that I think, for me, this is missing is the zoom function. Now, I know it's a tactical flashlight and it is waterproof, and we'll go through all them specifications, but me, I like to have a zoom. So even when you don't have it on the full brightest setting, you can really zoom in on something. Maybe that's not what this light is about, but for me personally, that's what I think it's missing. I do like a bit of zoom. Let me turn it off. So we put my head torch on. Yeah, not a bad little head torch, but you can zoom in on something without it being massively bright. Maybe this doesn't need it, but it is properly bright. So bright. Listen. Ooh, that's enough for this bit now. I'm going to take this back home and we'll run through all the technical specifications. Oh my days, that is so bright. It really is. Right, that's enough for now. We'll run through all the tech spec back at home. Laters. Hey, how we doing? We're back home. Just having a brew. Got my own mug. I know it's reversed, but it does say JJ Outdoors. Got my glasses on. Let's just go through some of this technical specification. So there we are. It comes in a box, just a plain, this is a sample box that we've all been sent. I presume that when people buy these, it's going to come in a branded box with all the logos and that on it. But for us, we've just got a plain box. Okay. A little bit of foam for it to sit on, so it's all nice and that in there. There is a disclaimer sort of against the tactical ring and that, which I'm generally not going to be using it with. Let's just quickly go through the technical spec. Okay, so when this is on its highest setting, which is turbo, that's 1600 lumens, and that will go for 109 minutes. When it's on the high, that's 360 lumens, which is still properly bright, 210 minutes. When it's on middle, which is 60 lumens, that will run for 960 minutes. And when it's on low, that's 10 lumens, and that's 5,880 minutes. That's pretty crazy, really. The beam distance goes out to approximately 245 meters, or for those that like yards, 267 yards. Okay, impact resistant, yeah, 1 meter, 109, whatever that is. It's protection IP68 rating, and it has a working voltage of 2.8 up to 6 volts, and that, not bad. So we'll take it out, pop that on there. This comes with a really quite long, yeah, USB compatible magnetic charger, which is really secure, really is secure. We like that. That is pretty decent. Seems to be made of a really good quality. It's nice and flexible. It doesn't look like it's going to fray too much. That's really good. You get a little Brinyte wristband. Give that to the kids or something. And you also get, how many's in there? 1, 2, 3 other O-rings, which are going to sit around the top of the casing and inside where the battery is. Okay. The belt clip is really secure. If you don't want to be using that, it can just pull off, and it's quite has recess to sit into. It's really strong. Right, unscrew and take out this battery. Okay, so this comes provided with an 18650 battery, okay, which is 3,400 mega amperes. 18650. I've not really come across these before, but I dare say I can get replacements. And if you're not going to run it with that, it says on this technical card you can run it with 2 CR123A batteries, and again the working voltage between 2.8 and 6 volts. So that's that. Let's just pop that back in. If you're going to use the finger guard, see, there's like, can you make that out? There's like a couple of little recesses for the actual guard to go on, and that corresponds with lines with little arrow indicators on there for that to slide into. And then we just pop that back on. And then that goes round nice and secure, and just pop the belt clip at the top. The actual pouch that it comes with, okay, it has a really handy turn function, so when it's on your waist or your leather belt and that, you can have it clipped on and it'll turn as well, which is really quite handy. This here, so when that's clipped in, you pull this out, you also run it down your clip line, and it comes back on itself like a J, so it actually sits underneath. It's really very secure. It does have on the side another little recess for a spare battery to go into, and on the other side, if you can see, that one side is slightly recessed down, so that when you just pop that in with the finger guard, you can see the finger guard is out of the way, like so. Yeah, and if you push it down just over that, you can still operate when it's in the case. So all told, pretty good. As I say, I'm not really going to be using this with the finger guard. It's not to my personal preference, but I know that some people will like that. So if I just pop that back in and then run the belt clip over the recessed bit, push that down, draw it over the top, closes down nice and securely, and again just fits perfectly so that the actual end of the light just pokes out and you can still get to the button. Yeah. The last little quick bit about it is it comes with a really decent length lanyard, yeah, which is a really nice length. I quite like this. This is how I will actually use it. So you can attach your hand to it on a toggle, push it back in, and that's probably how I'll use it during the night in the walks. So even if you do drop it, it's still there to hand. We like that. Or you can just clip it over to the back of your shoulder straps. You can grab it out if you want to attach it somewhere else so it's there. I really like that. It's a really decent length. You can extend it more. Pretty spot on. $120. $120. You work that out for yourselves wherever you are in terms of your market or country of origin. $120. Now, that's a lot of money. Yeah, that is a lot of money for the majority of people. It's whether you can actually justify spending that amount of money on a tactical flashlight. You know, there are plenty of other decent little lights out there that don't cost that much. It's just down to you. I think $120 for something like that, when you're looking at like the Olight, Warriors and things like that, they're more expensive. That's pretty decent. So let's just say roughly about £100 I think over here at the moment. That's what that roughly equates to in the UK. Still a lot of money, but in terms of the brightness that it offers and the impact resistance that it's got and the waterproofness, that's pretty damn decent. You know, it's a seriously powerful light. It really is. I've already said one of the drawbacks for me is that it doesn't have a zoom. Yeah, there's no zoom function on there. Now, whether that's what this kind of light is based around and that what its intended use for, I don't know. But me, I quite like to have a zoom function. But as I've already said, you know, at night I'll be running a head torch as well, which does have zoom. Yeah, so that's one little side for me. I'm not sure if amongst their other lights that they've got, whether they have one that has a zoom function. I also think one of the things it's missing for me personally is a red backlight. You know, so sometimes you just want, you know, that ambient red light on, even on a really low function, even if it's around about 10 or 15 lumens, just to have a red function. That's what I quite like to have sometimes, just as a backup in the woods and that as well. But that's just me, personal preference. Otherwise, pretty damn decent light. That's enough for that. I'm going to head out now. I'm going to show you my water test. Catch you in a bit. Bye. Right, my little water test. Let's just get the light out of its pouch, and then I've got a big long length paracord. Make sure that's not knotted before we go any further. Right, I'm going to attach one end around the belt clip loop first of all, and then I'm going to feed the lanyard through the paracord as well, so that way it's doubly secure. And then I'm just going to double feed it back on itself. That is really, really secure. Let me just make sure the rest of the line is not tangled. And the longer length is going to get looped through my hand. Okay. And then basically, do that bit. About 8 foot deep. Just going to leave that attached around my axe handle, and we're just going to leave it. It's now about, I know this is reversed, it's about 5 to 4. We'll come back in a bit and see how it does. My water test, at some point I may have to cross a stream, ford a river or something like that. Stuff may be in my pockets. I may end up misplacing my footstep and end up above my waist. So there you go, rather than just pop it in a bucket of water or a bathtub, throw it in your local fishing pond. Right, catch you in a bit. Crazy. Right, that's been in there about 15 minutes. Still feels heavy. Still attached. Let's have a look. Yeah, boy. That works. That works. Still run through. All the functions. I know that's only been in there 15 minutes, but the lens looks nice and clear. There's no water ingress. I know my friend Wooly, he run his through the washing machine cycle. There was a little bit of water ingress. That's to be expected. That's pretty extreme. But you know what? If I'm going to drop anything in the water and that, I'm hoping I'm not going to be staying around too long to actually find out where it is and that. So that's been in the water. Still works. Absolutely spot on. So I'm really impressed with that. I am happy with that. I really am. So what do we make of it? The Brinyte PT28 Oathkeeper. Absolutely spot on. Not a bad little light. Missing a couple of functions that I've already sort of said myself on a personal preference that I'd like to see. A zoom function. Maybe not everyone needs that. It's just something that I particularly like to see on certain pieces of equipment, and maybe a red backlight on there as well. But you know what? Spot on. I'm going to keep testing this. This is just the first impressions. I'm really impressed so far with it. Let's see how we get on over winter, where it's going to get a lot of use, and I'll start running it through some other like drop tests and impact tests, run my vehicle over it and see how that does. But you know what? For a first impression, there you go. Brinyte PT28 Oathkeeper. Not bad. I'm going to have a brew. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch up again soon. Catch you later.